Alright guys, so what I'm doing right now is, as you've seen, I've got a new battery for the buggy. Let's take a second to talk about the battery here. So this is the original battery of the bike, and it's no good. It needs to be replaced. So instead of getting the same one, I decided I might as well go with a bigger one. So I went with this battery, which is a fair bit bigger. And it's not really wider, it's just taller. That's basically the only difference, just that it's taller, size wise. The other thing is this original battery is 135 cold cranking amps. This one is 200 cold cranking amps. So this will start the buggy way easier, far easier, and it should last longer. Like, I mean, if I have trouble where I can't get the buggy started or whatever, and I'm having to crank it over a fair bit, this battery would go dead far quicker than this one. So it's kind of a nicer thing. So for this battery, I've made a nice little battery tray for it. And it fits right in here quite nicely. So yeah, it just slides right in there, real nice and easy. So what I've come up with is, under the front panel here, I've decided that I'm going to put it right here behind the dash. It won't hang down any further than the dash pad here, and it'll be hidden and still very easily serviceable, just by lifting this top panel here. So now with connecting the battery, I need to, as I don't know if you guys can see in here, I've got the positive and the negative right there, and obviously they need to be extended up to behind the dash, and I measured it to be roughly 6 feet. Now to buy battery cables that are the right size, first of all, I can only find a length of 4 feet maximum at the local auto parts store. With the right fittings on it, it's maximum of 4 feet. Even without any fittings, it's still only, I can find the length is only 4 feet. So that's obviously not going to work. I need roughly 6 to be comfortable with it. I don't want something like stretched across here or anything like that. And the price of one single wire is about $25, which seems pretty expensive. So what I'm doing here is it's roughly 10 gauge wire for that. So I bought a set of jumper cables. Let's pull these out here. So right here I've got 10 gauge jumper cables, and it's as you can see, 8 feet long. So there's more than enough length here. So what I need to do is, obviously I'm not going to use these clamps here. So what I will do is cut the clamps off, and then this the jumper cables were about $10. Then for another $1, I've got the right ends that I got to crimp onto here. So I'm making my own wiring extension kit for far less than one single made up wire already. fairly complete now. It's all moving how it should, mostly actually. There is a problem with where the axles go on. Right here where it goes on, there's way too much play in that. There's way too much slop. Can't get it to move right now, but anyways, both sides. What I need is these collars that I got for the sprockets here. I need to get some of those because they fit really well onto the shafts. And then maybe they'll be welded on or just have a bolt going through. That will get rid of the play, because otherwise it's pretty, like, it doesn't move the nicest. You see how much it's moving like that. Otherwise it all moves fairly nice. Every other part moves nicely. The next step is going to be to connect the fuel and the brake and the clutch pedals. But before that, I need to know where I am sitting in here to know where the pedals should be. Which brings up this seat that I've been using. Alright, so I had suspicion that the seat was actually hollow, and it definitely is, which isn't a problem. So I did a little bit more trim this back so it can go back as far as it can. Then what I think I'm going to do is fill this full of expanding foam, and then I'll shave it and just maybe just kind of create a little bit of a lip up here, so that way when I sit down I'm not going against the edge here. Shouldn't be that difficult. Also, I can heat it up and it melts really easy, so I can kind of shape it a bit that way. So the bottom here, I just took a hammer and just gave all the studs a smack, and they all came out. One there left a hole, but not a big deal. Like I said, the seat is basically, it was a loss right from the start. Like all these holes being screwed up for it to mount, they're really, like, there's not much you can do about that. And these are pretty cheap to buy new anyways. I think they're like, I don't know, they're around like 50 bucks, something like that. They're not that much. So this is the experiment, and see how it works. So if I put it in here, now it goes in here way easier too. Anyways, I can slide it right to the back, just wiring out of the way. And I can already tell that has a lot more room. Now I just have to put something in between here. Obviously I don't want to put my back against the header here. That would be pretty hot and ouchy. But I've got lots of scrap and whatnot. I'll figure something out for that. One other thing I want to show you guys was if I move this out of the way here, you can see it easier. I hooked up the linkage for the shifter here. And then the piece that was on there for the foot pedal, I took that off because I don't really need that. And here it is right here. I don't know if it's an aftermarket one or what. It says Vortex. Maybe that's what it came with brand new. I really don't know. But anyways, this is still in, other than that having skate along a road or whatever when the bike was crashed. The rest of it's in really good shape. Still moves very nice. And I was looking at it, and if I stood it up like this, it could actually be a pedal pretty easy. And it's already got a mount on here for something to hook up to it, like a cable or whatever. And then from the bottom here, it's fully adjustable. So this would actually make a really good pedal. So I might just do that with it. Alright, maybe I got a bit carried away cutting it, or maybe I just didn't really care about it. Anyways, I removed a fair bit more of it, rest of the back. So I left the bottom here where it's going to bolt on, because that's kind of structural, so I left that together there at the bottom, this lip here that holds it. And then it's also tied in like right there and on the other side right there, so it's got lots of structure left to it still, and then in here, so I'm not worried about it falling apart. So put it in here around the wiring mess and slide it back. There, it's all the way back now, and that's got tons more room now. There's so much more room in there now. I'm way further back, and I sat in there already, and basically all I really gotta do is put in some type of pad, like right along here, on this, right along here. And then I'll have to, I've actually got some mesh I can put up top here to go across, to make it so I'm not blocking off the airflow, and I'm not touching it either with my helmet or my head, whatever. Another kind of interesting thing was under the hood here, that piece from the shifter I was talking about as a pedal, I found there was a hole right here to mount to, so I just thought, well, I'll just try it. So I stuck it in there, and as you can see in there, so a foot goes right against here, and then this would be to push it, and then it's got a little, if it'll focus here. So yeah, so this part right here that I could mount to, like a cable or something, and it's really nice. It's perfect like that. So I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, maybe trim the little scrape off of here, and then I'll set it up probably to be the clutch pedal. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And it's not gonna be mounted to this. I'll make a proper mount for it. Actually, I might just space it out a bit and then weld in another tang down here for it to stick to. But we'll see. Alright, so I like that shifter idea so much for the clutch pedal that I was digging around. I found my other pedals here. So this is a gas pedal from a Chevy Impala, and this is the e-brake from a Chevy Impala. And long story, but anyways, I've got both of them. This has a mechanism where you push it in and it goes click 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 on a ratchet and it locks, and then you push it again, it comes back, which I can actually, there's a rivet somewhere on here that I can drill out and get rid of that whole mechanism, and then it's just a spring-loaded pedal and goes back and forth really nice. But I like the shifter so much that I was digging around and I found the rear brake assembly from the bike, and it's basically got the same thing here. Now I've got the caliper, the reservoir, everything all here, but my plan is not to use this part of it really for what I want to use the brake itself for. So if I undo these two bolts here and the cotter pin here, it'll separate basically the whole piece, which is nearly identical to that one on the Buggy. And then I think I gotta flip it around to the other side. But anyways, this would make an awesome gas pedal. So that would be really cool, have this as a gas pedal. And then this kind of has to be mounted like in a corner. That's just the design of it, and it's pretty small, so I was actually thinking this would be the clutch pedal, but now I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. But I'm kind of thinking that this, being so wide and it's pretty easy to mount it up, and you could really give a strong push on this, I think this would be the brake pedal. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that idea. I think that'll work pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright, I've gotten quite a bit done here. So I've got basically all three pedals in here. So like you guys seen already, the clutch pedal, gas pedal here, and then I've just been working on the brake pedal, and so I use that gas pedal from the Impala, and I've got it set up here, and now I'm just kind of trying to find the spot where I want to hook it up. I moved this line so it was on top of here from where it was before, and then it can kind of be tucked up under the battery here. Should keep it out of the way, and as soon as I trim this and then make a mount for this to pivot on, the hood does close again, and it closes the whole way. So because the last thing I want to do is modify this hood again. It's already been like so many times now. Yeah, so I'm just gonna trim that, make a pivot on it. Not sure exactly how I'm gonna do that just yet. but I'll figure it out. And there's lots of adjustment in here, so I can move the pedal back and forth, up and down. I'll probably get a spring somewhere to probably for every pedal, actually, a spring to retract the pedal, bring it back. Okay, so I cut this piece off of it that was on top of here. Then I heated this up so it was super red hot, and then hammered it flat on here. Then I drilled it, and now I've got right here a big huge mess of stuff. Trust me, I know. Anyway, so the adjuster and this push rod can now go on here like this, and I've got a nut and bolt to go with it. Alright, it's all hooked up now, the brake pedal. It'll need to be bled before it'll be functioning, but I can push the pedal here. Take the hood, put it down, and there's still room, and then we put it down the rest of the way. There, the hood's down the rest of the way now, and it is almost touching it. It's like just a hair away from touching. So that will work good. And there's a brace inside the hood anyways, so even if I stood on it, it wouldn't go down to it. Alright, so I was just doing some adjustments here. Again, these to kind of sit where they need to be, shimming it way out, and then making the second bracket here to hold it so it's nice and tight. And as you can see, it's only tack weld on this side because I ran a welding wire. So unfortunately the weather has changed, and I have to stop working on it outside here because it's always outside. Anyways, the next video I will be driving it. That is the goal, is to take it for the first drive. And I hope everybody enjoyed watching this, and please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.